In the span of just 4 years, 1856 to 1860, the Second Opium War reshaped China's destiny and reverberated across the globe. Rival empires pressed their demands on a faltering dynasty, treaties were signed under duress, and the sacred gardens of Beijing went up in flames. Today we explore how this conflict not only opened new ports to Western commerce and legalized the opium trade, but also triggered sweeping reforms, sowed seeds of modern Chinese nationalism, and left lessons for today's debates on trade equity, sovereignty, and cultural heritage. Following the First Opium War and the 1842 Treaty of Nanking, China's Qing dynasty ceded Hong Kong and opened 5 treaty ports: Canton, Amoy, Foochow, Ningpo, and Shanghai. British merchants grew rich, but Chinese society paid a heavy price. Annual opium imports surged from roughly 4 million taels in the 1830s to over 20 million by the 1850s, fueling addiction, hemorrhaging silver, and eroding trust in the imperial court. At the same time, the Qing faced internal collapse. The Taiping Rebellion, 1850 to 1864, raged across southern China, claiming an estimated 20 million lives and stretching imperial forces thin. Regional commanders like Zheng Guofan and Li Hongzhang prioritized quelling this revolt, leaving coastal defenses underfunded and treaty port garrisons outdated. In this climate of internal crisis and external pressure, Western powers saw opportunity. In October 1856, Chinese authorities boarded the Arrow, a vessel registered under a lapsed British license, arrested its crew and raised suspicions of flag disrespect. London cried foul, citing extraterritorial rights. Within months, France found its own pretext: the execution of Father Auguste Chapdelaine in Guangxi province. Despite Qing attempts at apology or indemnity, Paris amplified the outrage, framing China as hostile to Christian missions. These twin incidents provided a veneer of legal and moral justification for Britain and France to recommence hostilities. On October 23, 1856, British steam warships bombarded the Bogue forts guarding the Pearl River's mouth. Outgunned by Paishun shell guns, the Qing defenders fell back. By November, amphibious forces, including Indian regiments, landed and captured key fortifications, forcing the river's opening as far as Canton. Negotiations collapsed when Cantonese insurgents burned the foreign factories, the trading houses, on December 28, 1856. Though the Indian Rebellion of 1857 briefly diverted British resources, new contingents of British and French troops returned later that year, overwhelming Canton's defenses by January 1858. Facing steam-driven fleets and rifled artillery at the Taku forts in May 1858, the Qing court acceded to the treaties of Tianjin on June 26 to 27. Key terms included opening 11 additional ports: Tianjin, Zhujiang, Hankou, Nuzhuang, and more. Right of foreign envoys to reside in Beijing. Freedom for Christian missionaries to travel throughout China. Legalization of the opium trade. An indemnity of 8 million taels. Supplementary protocols in Shanghai ratified opium's legality, triggering domestic outrage but cementing Western diplomatic norms in China. Ratification in Beijing stalled, and in June 1859, Allied ships attempted to force the Taku forts, only to be repelled with over 200 casualties. Frustrated, Britain and France abandoned diplomacy. In August 1860, a reinforced armada of 10,000 troops, dozens of steamers, and advanced rifled guns recaptured the Taku forts after 48 hours. Marching overland to Tianjin and then toward Beijing, Allied forces encountered minimal resistance as internal Qing divisions hampered any unified defense. October 18 to 19, 1860. In reprisal for detained envoys, Lord Elgin ordered the destruction of the Yuanmingyun, imperial gardens renowned for their architectural marvels and priceless manuscripts. Troops looted artifacts, then set buildings ablaze, reducing centuries of cultural achievement to smoldering ruins over 3 days. This deliberate act sent a clear message: treaty violations would invite profound humiliation. On October 24, 1860, the Convention of Peking ratified the Tianjin Clauses and added new concessions: cession of southern Kowloon Peninsula to Britain, an additional 2 million taels in indemnity, and Russian gains in the Amur Valley. China now subsisted under a web of unequal treaties, its sovereignty curtailed by extraterritoriality and legalized vice. Economically, legalized opium drained silver reserves and generated dependency. By the 1870s, opium duties financed nearly 70% of treaty port government revenues. Missionary schools and hospitals proliferated, planting seeds of modern education and healthcare, yet also sparking anti-missionary violence. Politically, the war galvanized the self-strengthening movement, 1861 to 1895. Reformers like Prince Gong and Zheng Guofan built arsenals, founded naval yards, and established the Tongwen Guan to study foreign languages. However, piecemeal implementation and factional rivalries limited impact, paving the way for further defeats to Japan, 1894 to 1895, and the Qing collapse in 1911. Between 1856 and 1860, the Second Opium War propelled China into the modern era at a profound cost. As we navigate today's complex global landscape, may we heed the past warnings to balance power with justice, innovation with foresight, and commerce with cultural stewardship. If you found this analysis enlightening, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. How do you see these lessons playing out in today's world? Thank you for watching.